All right.
Morning, Ray.
Morning. How are you doing?
Doing well, Mr. Commissioner, sir.
Yeah. Hi, Ray. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Okay, we should get together soon and talk about the Ethnos building.
Yes, I have a couple of clients I wanted to talk to you about that I've had before. So
We've got a couple LOIs, but we're treading water right now.
no, I have an idea for it and I wanted to pass it by you. So offline when you get some time.
Sounds good.
I get my lunch again. We'll let me know when you want to do a lunch.
Okay. So Dan, what do you do for fun anymore?
Well, I'm self-employed, independent insurance agent, mostly life and health, mostly Medicare supplements, and been golfing 3 or 4 times a week this summer. So.
That's
Good
rough.
for you.
Wish I had time for golf.
Yeah, I used to do that a long time. I remember at the utilities, or that was our main goal was to play golf.
Yeah. I golfed every Friday when I was in sales, took clients out.
Yeah. Well, let's go sometime, guys.
Oh, you don't want to see my hook.
I'm usually I gravitate towards condominiums.
Well, I put, like I said, 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm barely improving. So it's like,
I even got a free lesson from Rick Smith over at U of M, helping on the swings and everything, but didn't help me out too much. I like to go out with golfers that aren't that serious. They like to just have fun. Been having some sinus problems for the last couple of days. Been beat me down.
there's a lot of pollen around. It's driving me crazy.
Morning, folks.
Oh, morning, David. So, David, they're asking what everybody doing for fun. I don't think you even had fun in about a couple of years. It was a joke.
I hope I'm not that sad.
No, I was just, I know you're so busy all the time. I wonder when you do have time.
I have a nice glass of bourbon every night.
There is a secret.
Yeah.
Hecky bourbon there? Or?
Try all kinds of different kinds.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. Oh, Mr. Collins.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How about you?
Good, good. Getting getting ready to go back into the office, finally. Next week.
Well, we're gonna have to wait till we at least have a quorum here of board members. We only have 4 right now, so we need a couple, 3 more, I think. Shane, how many do we need? 6?
Yes, 6. And we're just admitting a couple more now.
Sweet.
Is Phil Hones a member of the board or,
Yes. Yes, he is.
Mr. Chair, I believe the majority of the board is now present.
Right. Yep. Looks like we have a quorum. So it is 1 minute past 9 according to my clock. So I will go ahead and call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone. And we'll have the roll call, and please note, when you are voicing your attendance, please announce where you are physically located currently, including the city, town, and/or township and county. Staff, call the roll, please.
Dobies,
Here, I'm in Lansing, Michigan.
Lechty,
Here, Jackson, Michigan.
Greer,
Present, City of Jackson, Michigan.
Hones,
Here, Columbia Township.
Green,
present in humid and hazy downtown Jackson, Michigan.
Norris. I'm sorry, Norris is not going to be here today. Wolf, Straub,
Here, Blackman Township, Jackson.
Snell,
Here, Blackman Township, Jackson.
Duke, that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Well, can you hear me? This is Michelle Wilkins.
Hey, Michelle.
I'm here, Leone Township.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
If staff can note those absent, and it sounds like at least one of them requested an excuse.
Yeah, that is
We'll
correct.
need to check with the others on getting them an excused absent. All righty, so we have a presence of a quorum, and the next item is the adoption of the agenda as presented. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Support.
Second.
Moved by Snell, seconded by Schlechte, I believe. Any discussion? Just a note for the board members, if you wish to be recognized, just raise your hand so that we're not talking over each other. Thank you very much. Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll have to do a record roll call vote. Staff?
Straub,
Yes.
Snell,
Yes.
Dobies,
Yes.
Greer,
Aye.
Hones,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Schlechte,
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes,
Wilkins.
yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is adoption of the May 12th, 2021, I believe, special meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion to adopt as presented. We have a motion, support by Green. Who made that motion?
Ken made the motion. I supported it.
All righty, thank you very much.
I'm gonna abstain because I was not there.
Okay, well, without objection, we'll allow member Schlechte to abstain. Any discussion? Hearing none, staff call roll, please.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Holmes,
You're muted, Phil.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Dobies,
You're muted, Derek.
Sorry, yes.
Thank you.
Snell,
Commissioner Snell,
Yes.
thank you.
Straub,
Yes.
Greer.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item, public comment and correspondence. Is there any correspondence from the public? Mr. Laporte.
Mr. Chairman, no correspondence has been received.
Okay, and I would like to welcome our guests this morning. We'll potentially hear from them later, but welcome, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. So I see no public, other public comment. So unless Mr. Collins, Beiswinger, you wish to say anything under public comment? Okay, thank you for being here this morning. All right, so we're on to the consent calendar. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented.
Also,
Moved by Snell, seconded by Green. All righty, any discussion on the consent calendar?
I actually would like to, I have a couple of questions on the budget.
Okay, let's have the questions.
What is GLHHC stand for?
Great Lakes Home Health Care.
Okay. And then what are the expenses for the contribution to Cortlandt Street redevelopment project of 208,000?
Mr. Holmes?
That's eligible brownfield expenses that were paid for on the Vermeulen's Masonic Temple project, Cortlandt Street project.
Prior to its sale?
Yes, that probably goes back. Well, it should tell you it was in fiscal year 2018 and 2020.
Yeah, I was looking at the 2020. Okay. And then on the next page, what's DEP stand for? It says county.
There's a building, I think it's near the Hunt Club, but it's just north. I think it's Diversified Engineering Products, and it's actually a county brownfield plan, but I think the building straddles the city and the county or Blackman Township.
Right, yeah, it does.
And
Okay,
so we reimburse them the captured taxes for the property that's in the city. But it's
Okay.
actually a county BRA project.
okay. And I think that's all I had on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the consent calendar? Hearing none, the staff will call a roll.
Green,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Dobies,
Yep.
Schlechte,
Yes,
Greer,
Aye.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Snell,
yes.
Straub.
Yes.
All righty, motion carries. Thank you very much. On to new business. Item A, presentation by Dave Stedgink of EnviroLogic for Commonwealth and Associates with Richard Collins, President and CEO of Commonwealth Associates regarding 241 West Michigan Ave, Vault Brownfield Plan and Development and Reimbursement Agreement. Mr. Stedging?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Would it please the board to hear from Rich first or hear about this boring brownfield plan from me first?
Let's entertain our guest, Mr. Collins. Thank you for
Agree.
being here, sir. And let's hear what's on your mind this morning regarding your project.
I'm not sure how much some of you know more than others, I believe, because I've talked to some of you throughout, but so yeah, we Commonwealth purchased the old Comerica headquarters in late last year, third quarter last year, and hired an architect with our plan being to move our headquarters to the downtown area. One of the goals, because right now we have a facility in Blackman Township, and then we have a group of folks at the Commonwealth Commerce Center, and we've been ideally wanting to get everyone under one roof for a while, and we've also wanted to be downtown for a while. So we've been part of the Anchor Initiative for probably since its inception. My predecessor was on the Anchor board, and when this building came available and we looked at it and really kind of thought it was a neat building, and we negotiated with Comerica and paid for it last year, and then hired an architect, started doing some renovation plans. Our original thought was, we were going to have to get another facility immediately, because this building is probably a little smaller than our Argyle facility. However, the COVID pandemic kind of changed our business strategy somewhat. So we are allowing some people to work remotely and not be in the office. So it kind of lowered our number of seats that we really needed in the office. And so that they're still in Michigan, they're just working from home. And so we're allowing our people to either be in the office or hybrid, which is a couple days in the office, or completely remote. And so what that allowed us to do is to make the existing Comerica building work for us for our current needs. So that's where we're at right now. We are working through financing and working with the architect. We've actually got a demo bid plan put together, and working on schematics for the architect's part of it. So we're really gutting the whole building. We're actually, obviously most of you probably been in the bank building. It's set up for a bank, but so we're gutting the basement, turning that into a conference center. So all of our conference rooms are going. I didn't want to set somebody down in the basement because there's no windows down there, so I didn't want someone to have the seat down there. So that's going to be our kind of our conference center and our IT facility and printer rooms and things like that. And then something we don't have currently is a nice cafeteria, cafe type thing for our people to go to and lunch and mingle and so on. So we're actually taking part of the space on the ground floor to create like a cafe, a little more modern facility. And then all the engineers are on the next couple floors, 2.5 floors. So that's the current plan. We were hoping to get in, the original schedule was sometime in November. We're kind of behind schedule with the financing situation and some other things that will probably pushed into early 2022 at some point in time. So we've got some things we have to do sooner rather than later. We have to move the brains of our operation. Our server room is in Argyle. So we have to move our server room before we vacate that building, obviously, because we shut the whole company down if we do that. So one of the things that's kind of worked out kind of cool was that, and some of you may know this, some of you may not, but a long time ago, that building was contiguous with the upper floors of the JSO with when it was a National Bank of Detroit, or whatever it was, National Bank, I think. And so as we grow, and part of this plan with the MEDC is to bring more young engineers to downtown, and that's kind of one of the reasons we wanted to move downtown, was to attract young talent, young professionals to be, and with the, all the neat stuff going on downtown with the apartments and all the activity, we felt it was a better, give us a better chance at recruiting younger folks to Jackson, because we do recruit all over. We don't recruit people just from the area, and we sometimes we've had struggles recruiting people to the Jackson market just because it's not sexy like Chicago or some big city like these young people want to live in. And so, anyways, going back to GSO. So we've talked to the GSO. We've got a short-term lease. We're going to entertain with them right now to kind of store some of our existing equipment, and that we're moving out of the Washington Street facility, the Washington, the Finale's building, and with the growth plan there's actually garage doors that open up and they become contiguous with our building. Okay. And so they'd have to come down. They're not fire rated and everything, but we talked to them and they've had trouble renting that facility for a long time. And part of it has to do with, I think, our stairwell and our elevator are the only means of egress to meet code. And right now they can't use that. So we've got an old back stairway that's wooden that doesn't meet fire code. So for the only people who really, unless they want to update their back stairway, it's not really a useful space for a long-term rental. So anyways, we're looking to entertain that as our growth plan and eventually redoing those, which would cost money. So we'll end up redoing those floors on the JSO and then opening up the garage doors and making that our expansion so that I can grow and have a place for these the younger engineers that we're hiring. So, so they've been very, the JSO folks have been very good to work with so far. And they're, and I even talked to them about potentially, I don't know how this works, us buying those floors eventually and turning it, condoing it somehow and however that works. I'm not an expert in that, but Laura could probably tell me that. But anyways, that's something we've thought about because I think for us, if we, when we move down there, the not paying rent would be attractive to us if we could control both properties. I think there's some code positives for us owning both sides also. So, but that's probably a couple years off when we start to grow and hire these. We're looking to bring in 20 engineers. That's about our average that we normally do every year. And we also have we usually bring in interns and that becomes part of our new crop of people that start. So we have about 22 interns right now, but most of them are remote because of, what's going on. But we like to think that we can bring them to Jackson and show them, the 200 and the Grand River and different things downtown and make it an more exciting place for them to come to and live. You're muted, Daniel.
Sorry about that. Mr. Collins, I've just, on behalf of myself and the members of this board, we just want to express our gratefulness for your commitment. We know this move for your company has been in discussions for a number of years.
Yeah.
Going back to even when I was on city council so many years ago. But so when you first move in, you'll be bringing 20 new jobs to the city with the potential for more going forward.
Well, what we will be doing first is we'll fill the building with about 120 to 130 people to start. Their existing employees moving downtown, and that will kind of get us almost to capacity. And then starting next year would be 2022. The plan is to hire 20 new engineers or staff people every year. After that continuously. So that's kind of our growth. That's how we stay competitive. We have to have younger engineers at a lower rate to offset our senior engineers to.
Yes. Well, you probably have some retirements going on as well. But the 130 or so, none of those are in the city currently?
Well, probably right now we're in the at the Commonwealth Commerce Center.
Yeah.
So we do have some
Okay.
people down there.
Okay. Okay, does any other board members have any questions for Mr. Collins? Mr.
Do you have a
Green?
In general, do we have a quorum? I have to leave at 9:45, so if you need a quorum for a vote, I just want to put that out there.
Well, let me see. Let me do a quick count here. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we have 8 members present. We only have to have 6 for a quorum.
Okay.
I say let's vote though. I'm so happy to have Commonwealth come downtown and this project that has been in the making for a long time and pandemic ups and downs. And this is a great public-private partnership with the project going on there. So I know Dave can get into the nuts and bolts of the Brownfield stuff, and we should do that, but I'm just
Yes,
excited to vote yes when it's time.
absolutely. Well, let's have Dave give a little bit of, unless there's any other questions of Mr. Collins by the board. Hearing or seeing none, let's have Mr. Stedging give us a brief overview.
Well, I'll keep it brief because I'm taught never to sell past sold. So,
Yeah.
so there's really two main reasons why a brownfield plan is coming before the authority here. One is that the project is being supported by MEDC through their business development program. That is what is helping Commonwealth Associates incentivize the new jobs. Part of that program, the state requires that the local units of government demonstrate a support for the project. And very traditionally, they like to use the Brownfield plan as the vehicle to demonstrate that support. So that is one reason why this plan is before you. A second is that as Commonwealth has looked at the building, done asbestos surveys in particular, there's some real cost and significant cost to just getting this building into the shape that they need it to start their project. And that's really what this Brownfield plan is going to do for them, is to help them with those demolition costs and asbestos abatement costs. And a little bit of our cost related to the Brownfield plan. And then we also did throw in, I think it was $2,500 that the city contributed earlier to the preparation of a phase 1 environmental site assessment. So you can get your money back there too. So essentially the Brownfield plan projects an increase in the taxable value that generates about I think it's going to be somewhere around 35 to 40,000 going up in each year a little bit in tax increment. And right now with costs projected at about $500,000, a little bit more than that, our projections are that it will take 14, maybe there'll be a little bit left to reimburse in the 15th year. So it's a reasonably compressed timeline for this particular Brownfield plan. And lastly, I think, so what you're approving here are 3 different things, or we're hoping you're approving them. The Brownfield plan, the development agreement, which is very consistent with what we just went through for another party. We use the same agreement with all of Mr. Holmes's amendments. You are also needing to authorize staff to submit a cover letter with what's called an Act 381 work plan, which basically just itemizes all these costs, but provides a lot more detail. And that's what gets the school tax support for this project. And then fourth, what really makes this work is that being in the Downtown Development Authority's district, we have had some conversations with the DDA, asking them to step aside in favor of the Brownfield Authority and this particular Brownfield plan. So there is an interlocal agreement that the Brownfield Authority and the Downtown Development Authority need to enter into, whereby this authority takes primacy for the tax increment on this parcel for the next so many years as needed. So there's 4 things you're approving today to make it work. They're all interconnected. They all need to come together and mesh together to make this a successful project.
Very well, sir. Anything else from you? Okay.
Good.
I would just note this wouldn't be the first time that the DDA and the Brownfield have worked together. We've done it in the past, and I believe the other one was an interlocal agreement as well. Jonathan may remember this, Laura, maybe, I'm not sure. But yes, okay. If there's no questions for Mr. Stedgink, then we can move on to the next item on the agenda, which is recommendation approve the Brownfield Plan, DDA interlocal agreement, and development and reimbursement agreement for 241 West Michigan Avenue, Commonwealth and Associates Incorporated, and consider recommending to City Council for final adoption. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, moved by Schlechte, seconded by Green.
Yes.
Thank you. All righty. Discussion. Any questions? Jonathan?
This is just a really great project, and downtown, it's merchants, it's retailers, it's restaurants, and the city of Jackson will benefit greatly from this collaboration. So I hope everyone sees fit to approve.
Thank you, sir. Phil?
Consumers has kind of a stake in the DDA revenues that they are used only for debt service for the DDA debt. So I think somebody should communicate, maybe Jonathan, to consumers that we're doing this interlocal agreement.
Okay.
Just so they're aware of it, because I'm sure they won't have a problem with it, but every year we have to document to consumers that all the DDA revenue is being used for debt service.
Okay.
So if we divert any of that with an agreement, we should at least let them know.
Yep. I'll let Scott McIntosh know.
Okay, thanks.
All righty.
I want to put it out there, Rich, that first floor would make a great little department store, but I know you're not going to give it up.
No,
Has
consumers-
anyone, I'm
we've been
sorry.
working- We've been
Go
working
ahead.
with consumers to become part of the smart energy district. So they've actually annexed the smart energy district to allow the Comerica building to be added onto it. So in the future, we're going to be looking at bringing in some other energy efficiency kind of things like they did in the 200. They've got to change the circuit out that's not to quite, there's a distribution circuit that feeds that building that doesn't work right now for solar panels and batteries and things like that. But we've had a lot of discussions with consumers. So eventually that would be one of the things that we want to do is become, part of the smart energy district and make this building a lot more energy efficient and green and that sort of thing. So there are different people within consumers all are aware of this project, including Scott. I've talked to Scott several times. So
Thank you. Where is the DDA? Have they considered the interlocal agreement yet, or is that going to be a future consideration?
It's tomorrow morning, Mr. Chairman. Scott Fleming and I will go to them and explain the situation. And thankfully, they too have a little bit of institutional knowledge about this happening before in the form of Bart Holly, who can help carry the water and message for us.
Wonderful. Okay, any other discussion from the board? We have a motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, we'll have the staff call the roll.
Greer,
Aye.
Bones,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Schlechte,
Yes.
Snell,
Mr. Commissioner Snell,
I didn't quite hear that, sorry. Yes.
Stobies,
yes,
Straub.
Yes.
motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone. And Mr. Collins, you are free to leave if you feel you need to go. We appreciate you being here and all of your efforts on behalf of the city of Jackson over the years. And there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Hopefully, yeah, I appreciate the assistance. Every little bit helps. And yeah, we're super excited about being able to go right across the street to Food Truck Tuesdays. So we're real excited about the whole project. So yeah, I want to see it to come to an end. So we'll eventually. We'll get to it.
Absolutely. So do all of us, I believe. So we're real happy that this has happened today. Congratulations and best wishes on everything moving forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you, David.
All right, you're welcome. All righty, folks, we're on to our next item, which is a presentation by Scott Fleming, President,
Yes.
CEO of Jackson Anchor Initiative regarding a request for funds from the JBRA to assist angling. Is it AL or AI?
AI.
AI to pay the cost of a phase 2 environmental site assessment at 407 North Jackson Street. Welcome, Mr. Fleming.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. And this company is a really growing company. I brought the representative with me, Mr. Doug Binswinger. He's present here, but I think I can run down most of what they're asking for. This company is a fast-growing company. They are looking at 407 North Jackson Street. They already did a phase 1. They are an injection molding company making fishing lures. They're working with Arrow Steel on a lot of their materials. They're up to 5 employees now. And the average wage is around $50,000 for the income coming into the city. It's 4.5 million investment. They continue to grow, so we would see them growing even larger in this spot and helping out the city. And they're asking for a phase 2, but also in addition to that, they're looking for a baseline assessment and a document of due care. Baseline environmental assessment is included in here for $20,000 is what they're asking for. And I think this is a great investment. It will make not a large impact to the community, but an impact, economic impact with the small amount of employees they have so far.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us this morning, gentlemen. Thank you for your interest in the city of Jackson. I would offer you to make a comment if you wish.
Yeah, I'll cover a couple, and then I'd like to introduce Josh Clark, the owner, president of the company. So yeah, we think it's in the large picture, a small investment to the move with the uncapping of the taxes on the property, and then the additional income tax and revenue being spent in the city of Jackson. We thought it was a great fit. The site's a great fit, and he looks forward to investing a great deal of money to grow that company. Short-term plans. After it's up and running, he sees the business growing from the current 5 to a total of short-term of 12 employees. And as you heard, they're well-paid employees that will hopefully spend a good portion of that income within the city. But definitely, if you have any questions for Josh, he's available.
All righty. And I believe the correct pronunciation of your name is Binswinger.
Binswinger. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
All right. Well, is there any questions of Scott or the gentleman from the board? Okay,
I would just
Here.
like to say I appreciate your potential investment in downtown Jackson and the city of Jackson. And this is what it's about. Sometimes we get 130 employee projects that help redevelop a contaminated property. And sometimes we get 5 with an unlimited ceiling to redevelop a
Mhm.
contaminated property. And I look forward to supporting this project as well.
Absolutely. Any other comments? If not, we'll move on to item D, recommendation, approve financial assistance from JBRA to Angling AI for a phase 2 environmental site assessment to be conducted at 407 North Jackson Street. Financial assistance for the environmental site assessment not to exceed $20,000. Do we have a motion and support?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Moved by Schlechte, seconded by Green. Discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Staff will call a roll.
Snell,
Yes.
Dovies,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Schlechte,
Yes.
Straub,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you as well for your interest in the city of Jackson. And we hope you grow exponentially.
Very happy to be
So,
part of it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for being here today. Thank you, Scott, for your work on this as well. So with that, we'll move on to item 8 on the agenda, which is board member concerns and comments. And are there any board member concerns or comments? I have a question. Did the amended JBRA bylaws get approved by the city council? Did those go to the council?
Mr. Chairman, yes, those bylaws did go to the council and they were approved.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
They have been
And-
updated. They have been updated on the JBRA website.
Okay. All righty. And I assume council approved the Brownfield plan and so forth for the
They approved objective last night.
yes, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate your leadership on that one. Any other board member concerns or comments? Does it look like our next meeting will be in person? Anybody know on that, Jonathan?
We're no, we don't know. I think right now it's up to you, Mr. Chair. I think you can make the call if you want to. City Council briefly talked about it last night, but we're still under a local state of emergency. We still have the a resolution passed to have council meetings be virtual until the end of August, and then state approval for the end of the year. It's really, from my perspective, I'm going to put it back to the collective bodies, our boards and commissions, whether they feel comfortable meeting in person or continue to meet virtually. I think most might want to just continue to meet virtually for the sake of it being summer, and then come back maybe after August. But I do also know there are people opposite of Phil Hones who just want to meet everyone in person.
Well, so our next regularly scheduled meeting would be, is it August 11th?
Mr. Chairman, August 11th is the next scheduled meeting.
Okay. Well, could I get some feedback from the board as to what your pleasure would be if we had a choice for August 11th, Mr. Snell?
Yeah, at county, we've been meeting in person for a couple months now. We've had no problems. I'd prefer to meet in person.
So noted. Thank you for that. Mr. Straub, what would your feelings be?
Virtual, please.
Virtual from you, okay? Councilmember Schlechte,
Virtual's easy, I'll tell you that, so. But I'll go either way.
okay? Mr. Holmes,
I'll go either way too. Is there a way that some can be virtual and some in person, or is that not normally the policy?
We can, and that's why the law requires when you say whether you're here or not, you state where you're from. So we could have a blend. It would take a little bit of work to pull off for staff and technology wise, but we'd find the right conference room with the right technology in it already and project who's virtual on a screen.
so in other words, if we had a live meeting, some of the members could be joining us virtually while some of us are gathered in person.
I'll verify that with our counsel,
Okay.
our legal counsel, but I believe that's can be the case.
Okay. How about Mr. Mayor? What would you have a preference for August?
I think if if we can do mixed, then it doesn't matter if people want to get together at City Hall and others want to meet virtually, then we can have that option.
Okay, thank you. Michelle, your thoughts?
In person, please.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered that base. Sounds like we may end up in August, we may have a mix, or we may be fully virtual. It just.
Call it a hybrid.
Yeah, if it were my preference, I'd rather meet all in person, but if some want to come virtually as well, I like that. So that would be fine with me. Any other board member concerns or comments that you would like to address? All righty, hearing and seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Holmes, seconded by Dobies. I guess we're supposed to have a record roll call vote, but all in favor signify by saying aye or waving your hand.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
You too, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.